Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is just to update you that the past president in the premises and very shortly is going to make his way to this room so that we can begin our program. Thank you so much.
Yeah, they were. This is live on YouTube. सोनू, अगर आवाज में कोई प्रॉब्लम हो मुझे व्हाट्सएप पे बताना है।
It's good to see you. See
Should I send you the? I'm sending now.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yes. Same like yesterday's. Yes, just take the government of the German ends.
So as the Vice President arrives, we request it. Thank you very much indeed for the national anthem. We get seated. Your Honor, Dr. Saulos Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, welcome to this meeting today. And before we go any further, allow me to invite Lacey to come forward and give us an opening prayer. Yes, please, thank you.
Father, thank you for your love, yes, and grace, and for holding us the opportunity to come and witness this special event, the launching of the LC3 project. Father God, this morning, I commit before you nothing but all the and I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Indeed, many thanks, Wesley, and for that prayer. Your Honor, Dr. Saulos Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi. Honorable Dr. Albert Bawala, MB, Minister of Mining. Honorable Martha Tsonga, MB, Minister of Trade and Industry. Honorable Jacob Hara, MB, Minister of Transport and Public Works. Dr. Solomon Mighty, Chief Technical Officer and leader of Limestone Calcined Clay Cement Project, and all members of the project team. Mr. Knut Garment, Deputy Head of Development Corporation, members of the Federal Republic of Germany, Dr. Laki Sikwese, Secretary to the Vice President, and all senior government officials here present, respective presenters, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Honor, the Vice President, I take the pleasure of welcoming you at this event where you'll be launching the Limestone Calcined Clay Cement Project in Malawi, which is also known as the LC3 Project. The project is a baby of a strong partnership involving a couple of organizations. These include TARA, who are working on the technical and research side. There is also GIZ as a co-implementing partner, Malawi Bureau of Standards, working on standards issues. And all the financing is coming from the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ. These are the funders of the project. Let me also highlight that to reach this stage, Tara and team have worked so hard and persevered through a lot. And indeed, it has been a long journey, dating as back as 2012. The LC3 innovation is also in line with Malawi's aspirations to promote green growth in the face of the climate change. It is also very much in line with MW26 2063 vision that we have as a country, the climate change investment plan, the national resilience strategy, but also the nationally determined contributions that Malawi is party to. And we did just revise them last year as we were going to the Conference of Parties in Glasgow, Scotland. And I've been told that the innovation has the capacity to significantly contribute to Malawi's mitigation measures, so much that it can reduce about 40% of the CO2 that is emitted within the cement industry. So with this background, indeed, Your Honor, allow me to invite the first presenter at this meeting to expound on the LCD project. And this is going to be the head of building materials under the project at GIZ. And this is Mr. Peter Schramm. Please, Mr. Peter, come forward and make your presentation. Thank you very much indeed, Your Honor. Thank you.
Right Honorable Dr. Saulos Chilima, Vice President of Malawi. Honorable Dr. Albert Bawala, Minister of Mining. Honorable Jacob Hara, Minister of Transport and Public Works. Honorable Martha Tsonga, Minister of Trade and Industry. Principal Secretaries, Directors, Senior Government Officials. This includes Deputy Head of Development Corporation at LC, Swiss Honorary Consul General to Malawi, Sylvia Ganakis, members of the PEFCOM board, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. I have the great pleasure to welcome you today to the official launch of the LC3 project. This project is part of a public-private partnership called Promotion of Environmentally Friendly Construction Material Sector in Malawi. That's financed by the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development and is implemented by GIZ and its Indian partner organization. Each one of us is aware of the importance that cement plays in the construction sector. It is an indispensable raw material for any construction and as such crucial to achieve the goals set forward in the Malawi Vision 2063, for example, in the areas of infrastructure for tourism or agriculture, also for urbanism. But while cement shapes much of our built environment, it's also a massive carbon, has also a massive carbon footprint. Its production is responsible for about 8% of the carbon emissions worldwide. And this is where LC3 comes in. The LC3 technology reduces energy consumption in the cement production. And subsequently, the CO2 emissions that already mentioned up to 30 to 40%. At the same time, it replaces high quality limestone, which is scarce in Malawi, by other raw materials, thus allowing to make use of materials that are in abundance available in Malawi. By doing so, it reduces the imports related to cement production by around 11 billion kwacha annually, and furthermore, it creates at least 1,000 jobs. The LC3 technology has been developed since the early 2000s by a consortium supported by the Swiss Agency of Developmental Cooperation. This consortium is composed by the Swiss University of Lausanne, the Cuban University Mata Abreu in Las Vegas, the Indian universities IIT Delhi and IIT Madras, and the NGO Tara. All part of the network behind this LC3 project. The origins of the LC3 project in Malawi date far back to 2012 and lie in a project that was piloted an environmentally friendly brick firing technology called EcoKill technology here in Malawi. This project was realized during the first phase of the program, More Income and Employment in Rural Areas, to which I'm part, and which was financed by the German government and the European at the time. During the EcoKill project, the implementing partners, which were the Malawian NGO Center for Community Organization and Development, better known as CEPA, GIZ and TARA realized that Malawian raw materials are highly suitable for the LC3 production. It was then Lafarge Cement Malawi that first became interested in adopting the technology and eventually, together with the GIZ developed PPP program for private-public partnerships, prepared a proposal for this promoting environmentally friendly construction material sectors in short PEFCOM. In this project, the private partner takes over the adaptation of the LC3 technology to the Malawian context and while the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development supports the development of the standards and the guidelines for the LC3 production and for its application. In the meantime, all other cement producers in Malawi have also shown keen interest in the LC3 technology. And we are currently in the process of formalizing a possible cooperation. Once this cooperation would materialize, Malawi would become the first country worldwide that would only produce environmentally cement and would thus become the world leader in environmentally friendly cements. In about 2 years times from now, when we will have developed the standards, it would be a fantastic opportunity for Malawi to introduce those standards in the whole South African development community. And I'm sure that together we will achieve this. Thank you very much, and wishing us all a fruitful launch of the project.
Many thanks indeed, Peter, for that great background you have given to the whole project. Indeed, together we can do this. We have seen in football, that is, you have seen underdogs doing great things, and we have also seen big teams struggling. Okay, he talked about Malawi becoming a potential world leader in the production of environmentally friendly cement, and I think having the vice president, who is also a believer of change, someone championing mindset change. Indeed, I think together we can achieve this vision and help restore our planet to the state that it deserves. At this particular moment, Your Honor, allow me to invite Dr. Somen Maiti, who is the Chief Technical Officer, Tara, India. He's going to make a presentation on the relevance of low carbon cement technologies for Malawi, and thereafter he's going to present to you, Your Honor, a symbolic sample of the limestone calcined clay cement. Thank you very much indeed. Dr. Soman, please.
Right Honorable Dr. Saulos Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi. Honorable Dr. Albert Mabala, Minister of Mining. Honorable Jacob Ara, Minister of Transport and Public Works. Honorable Mark Patsonga, Minister of Trade and Industry. Principal Secretaries, Directors, and Senior Government officials present here. Mr. Nat Gumar, Deputy Head of the Development Cooperation at the German Embassy. The Swiss Honorary Consul General to Malawi, Sylvia Giannakis. Members of the PETCOM Advisory Board, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm going to show you is the work that we had done on LC3 in Malawi. So before I start and share with you some results, I would like to give you a brief on the construction sector. This is worldwide figures. The construction sector is one of the largest emitter of CO2 in the world. And out of that, the cement sector globally contributes to roughly around 7 to 8% of the global CO2 emissions, making it the largest emitter of CO2 in the world. This is the fact, it is true, because the kind of cement and the concrete that we use, it's huge. Let us give you a little bit on how does the cement, the CO2 is emitted. So per ton of cement that we are generating, there is an emission ranges between 60 to 900 kg of CO2. And out of this, around 40% comes from the fuel that we are using, and the rest 60% comes from the chemical reaction, which is the raw material that we use for producing cement, that is decomposition of the limestone. The 40%, there has been a lot of work on this 40% worldwide. So people have reached the, and it has almost reached the thermodynamic limit of around 80%. So further improvement or research is not possible. Well, if it is possible, then it is only going to improve around 2%. Use of waste fuels, a lot of work has been done on this. So the question remains that what do we do? So the only area that we can improve is on the reducing that 60% which is there, which is essentially reducing the use of calcium carbonate or the reducing the use of limestone. Demand of cement in Africa, this is the kind of mega cities, this is the projected demand in 2025, that it is going to go about 25%, 1.2 billion people that will be there, and 60% of Africa's population will be urbanized by the year 2050. And these are the kind of areas that you see, these are the kind of areas that is going to grow. So if that growth is there, if urbanization there, it means that you need buildings, you need infrastructure, it means that you will need, of course, cement. And these are some of the demands of cement in Africa. Mind you, Malawi is not there, but what our idea is, our dream vision is that Malawi should be the hub of this low carbon or low cement technology so that it goes and meets the aspirations of the entire Africa. Not only Africa, but well, in other countries also. So presently, there are three main challenges that we have worked upon. One is that, well, the limestone is being depleted, whether we have quality limestone, whether we have quality other raw materials to produce this cement. And the first thing that I told is to mitigate any emission or environmental impacts. And the most important thing which everybody was looking at is whether cement is more affordable. Affordable to produce, and the people who will be using it, whether it is going to lower the cost. Status, three major companies, roughly around 800,000 tons of cement that is produced, mainly 32.5 grade. Some of the cement companies have started producing clinker here, but in certain, previously the clinker was imported. And since the rail network is not there, so a lot of transportation needs to be done. So their high cost of cement is mainly due to the transportation. So a realistic solution is, well, if we can reduce the use of clinker by other raw materials, which is available in large quantities. One of this material is calcined clay. Then it is good. What is calcined clay? Calcined clay is a blend of calcined clay and, of course, other materials. This is the normal cement that we available in Malawi. Well, it is same 1 and same 2 that we have. Instead of fly ash, you can use limestone and other raw materials are used. But what we will be proposing here, or we will be introducing here is LC3 where if you see that the clinker from around 70%, it has reduced to 50. We introduce around 35% of calcined clay, 15% of limestone and gypsum. This limestone is not the cement grade limestone that the cement companies are using right now. This is waste limestone, which is available in plenty in Malawi. High limestone, which nobody is presently using. Calcined clay, naturally the question comes whether we have calcined clay. I am coming to that today. Not only we can reduce it to 50, we can even go up to 40% or even 30%. With the kind of raw materials that we have tested in Malawi, this is highly feasible. It is not feasible in most of the countries. It is not feasible due to the quality of clay that we have, but in Malawi, yes, we have tested it. It gave us strengths of around 30%. The major advantages, well, clinker factor reduced up to 50% or even less. You can use clays which can to be fired at only 800 degrees Celsius compared to the clinker which is fired at 1450. There you save huge amount of energy. You save huge amount of coal. Energy means the fuel that you save, and you reduce your CO2 emissions. And of course, around more than 30% of CO2 that is. These are some of the areas that clays are abundantly available in Malawi. And this map, I would put my thanks to the Geological Survey of India. They have shared with us some of the data. So these are some of the data that it is published. But if you see the northern part of the central part, there are still possibilities of getting more clays. So clays are available all across the country, and the clay that is there, that is of very high grade. Let me take you through some of the clays that are there. This is an area called Lilongwe, everybody knows. If you see this white patch here, this long white patch and this white patch, this is clay. These are from the top, you can see this. It is absolutely at the surface. And when we use this clay, we took it back to India and we produced cement out of it. The raw materials we also took back from Malawi with the limestone and the other raw materials, clinkers also. This is the strength that has given. We got 60 MPa. Compare it to the 32.5, which is 80%, 85% of the market. Almost double. It is not only going to give you a quality material, but it can also reduce your clinker factor from 50 to around 40. Because I don't think you need such a high grade of cement. Let's look at another, which is in Cheleka, which is right behind the airport in Blantyre. This entire reddish area that you see here, this entire red dot area that you see, it looks like people don't think that this is clay, and this is not mapped in the Geological Service map. But when we took it and we made cement out of it, this is the kind of strength that it gave. 53 or 55 MPa, which is even better than the 42.5 grade cement that is there. And nobody knows about this. Nobody knows about it. Nobody has yet tried it. So what we think is that if we can introduce this LC3 in Malawi, several kind of advantages we can achieve. Number one is that we have done a preliminary calculation of the amount of that 800,000 tons of cement that is produced. If it shifts to LC3, then you have a potential of saving roughly around 0.5 million tons of CO2. This is based on the calculations, GHG emission calculations that we have done as per IPCC guidelines. This saving in CO2, this is an opportunity for the cement companies to earn carbon credits. Because if we are saving CO2 and there is somebody who is willing to pay for that cement, why don't we can't? We can easily. There is an amount of foreign exchange that will be coming to the countries. We can use sustained use of secondary raw materials. I'm not willing to use the word called waste materials. I call it as a secondary raw materials. With the kind of limestone that you have, with the kind of clay that you have, with the kind of gypsum that you have, you don't need to go or import any raw materials from other countries. You can use your own raw material, own raw materials for production of this cement. We need to do some grinding and blending experiments, which is fine. Most important, this is going to, if you are opening up new mines, opening up new opportunities, this is going to create local jobs, not only local jobs, but enterprises. And since we are not importing any clinker, saving of foreign exchanges, and in the fact that if we are producing this good quality cement, we can, Malawi, instead of importing cement, Malawi can be a hub of exporting cement also. For this, all of these, we need serious support. And there are three things that I have put it here, which we think that a lot of things will come, that people will be, companies that will be adopting this, if there can be an incentive given to them for going green. How can we use this LC3 in public construction? And of course, our major is how to be fast track the standards of LC3 so that a lot of companies can adopt. These are some of the partners that we are working with. Professor Karen Scrivener from EPFL for a constant guidance, encouragement, and belief that yes, as an organization, we can do this. Universities with SDC, Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, for their constant guidance and support across the globally, and of course, to GIZ and the German Corporation for helping us in doing it in not only in Africa, but across in all the other countries. Thank you very much. I would like to take this opportunity in presenting you, sir. This is cement. This is a concrete made out of LC3 using Malawian raw materials.
Sure. So that's a sample that has been presented to the Vice President, a big hand indeed, a big hand for the project team. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was really a fantastic presentation. A country with so much, and we have heard quite a lot. Other than reducing the greenhouse gases, there is potential to make sure that we also reduce the use of clinker. But interestingly, there was a mention of durability, to say the product is more durable than what you have at the moment, which is very, very indeed timely to hear, considering the fact that we are talking about building resilient infrastructure in the face of the disasters that we keep on experiencing as a country. We had the tropical storm Anna Gombe recently, and indeed that caused for a change in the way we are putting up our structures, bridges, roads, houses, and all that. So indeed it's interesting to hear that we seem to be heading towards a solution that is going to be a very, very important gateway for Malawi to attain the green growth that we all desire to achieve. Now, for a product to be durable, what it means is that there have to be standards. And this is why I shall be inviting the Malawi Bureau of Standards to come forward and make their presentation, to appreciate the efforts being done to make sure that as we're introducing the product, we also have standards in place. And I shall be inviting Dr. Stephen Chilima, who is the Deputy Director of Testing Institution. Come forward, please.
Your Honor, the Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, Right Honorable Dr. Saulos Chilima, the Minister of Trade and Industry, Honorable Mike Katsonga, MP, the Minister of Transport and Public Works, Honorable Jacob Hara, MP, the Minister of Mining, Honorable Dr. Albert Mbawara, the Principal Secretaries here present, directors, and all government officials, representatives of the German government, distinguished guests here invited, and ladies and gentlemen. I'm Stephen Chilima from the Malawi Bureau of Standards, and I'll be making a brief presentation covering standardization and quality assurance. To begin with, the Bureau of Standards the Bureau of Standards was approached by the project counterparts to assist or to help in issues to do with standardization and quality assurance. As you can see from this poster here, limestone LC3, which is limestone calcined clay cement, is made up of a certain composition, as well as it has certain benefits. So for us to come up with a composition, to define a composition of a product, there has to be standards which have to be set. So we come in to bring up the chemical requirements for the LC3, but also to define the physical as well as the mechanical properties that LC3 has to comply with. For us to benefit, to have the benefits that have been highlighted here, or the advantages of calcined clay cement, it is important that all the chemical compositions are complied with, as well as all the physical and mechanical properties have been met. We as the Bureau of Standards, we are there to help facilitate the development of the chemical compositions, as well as define these physical and mechanical properties. We are also there to help in standardizing the processes that have to be there in order for you to come up with this product. So why were we involved as the Malawi Bureau of Standards? You can see from our second objective, the Bureau is there to provide cooperation with anyone. It might be the industry, it might be any government arm, or it might be any person. So we are there to provide cooperation when it comes to standardization. So we also help government ministries, local authorities, and statutory corporations in framing specifications and codes of practice. I can just mention one or two things that are missing when it comes to building and construction material, when it comes to codes and specifications. As a country, we are supposed to have at least a national building code that will guide all the building projects in the country. That is missing in our country. We are also missing a construction code. All these roads that we are having, we don't have a national construction code. Currently, we are using the SATIC document, which is from South Africa. We are borrowing from South Africa our standards for the roads and for the bridges and everything that is into construction sector. So we as Malawians, we need to develop something that suits our environment. The Bureau is also there to prepare national standards, to facilitate the development of national standards. National standards, we are talking about Malawi standards. And when we come to Malawi standards for cement, we have MS 29, which is Malawi standard number 29. That standard has 27 types of cement that have been given there. So we have all these specifications. We have the compositions, we have the physical and mechanical properties for the 27 types of cement. This includes, for example, the OPC that we use, the ordinary Portland cement, as well as the PPC. They are defined in this particular standard, MS 29. But we also have MS 414, which is on masonry cement. That is another type of cement that we have a standard on. So this new particular cement, the LC3, currently we don't have any standard, but we are in a process to facilitate the development of a standard that covers the LC3 cement that we are that is being launched today. The other thing that the Bureau is there for is to provide facilities for testing, facilities for the examination of materials as well as products. So we are there to ensure that you have all the key players, whether the industry or any regulators, can access testing facilities to ensure quality or standards are being met by the respective products. Lastly, we provide calibration services as well as verification services for all equipment that is used in measurements. why should we have standards? We have standards, Your Honor, because no country develops without standards. So where there are no standards, it means there is chaos, there is no order. Standardization is all about bringing order in any particular context. So no country can develop without standards. So we are there to set standards to ensure that there is order in production, in processing, and everything. As previously stated, LC3 is there to promote environmental friendliness. So standards ensure that products promote health, promote safety, and promote environmental sustainability. Also defined in standards are the economic benefits. If we talk about durability, which is stated down here, that is covered in standards. Standards ensure that products are durable, products are reliable, as well as fit for their intended use or purpose. So performance issues are also being addressed in standards. Promoting of new products like the LC3 also helps us in ensuring that we have affordable cement products that contributes to promoting the economy of the country. So we are there to ensure that we have standards for LC3 in order for us to realize the economic benefits that this new innovation brings. Standards also facilitate trade, and they also remove technical barriers to trade. We can sell our products to neighboring countries if all our standards are harmonized. We also have vocabulary standards that help in communication and assistance in defining things. Types of standards, I've already maybe mentioned some of the standards that we have. On types of standards, we have the specifications. These give what composition, what physical characteristics have to be made, as well as what chemical, mechanical properties have to be made. So currently, there's no Malawi standard on specification on LC3, and we are trying to adopt an EN standard, which is a European norm 197.5, which covers something on Portland cement composites. So we believe that this LC3 product will fall under the Portland cement composite cement covered under 197.5 of the European norm. Other standards include the methods of test. So these are the standards that are used in the laboratories to assess if these specifications have been met. So our standards as Malawi standards, they are based on mostly EN 196, which are the standards that are used on globally on when we have to do with testing. Lastly, we have codes of practice, which gives us maybe guidelines. How do we do things? Processes. For example, if we are processing LC3, what are the procedures that have to be made? Those are outlined in the codes of practice. These are standards that are safeguarding the doing of it. How do you do things? And lastly, we have the terminology standards, which are vocabulary standards. As a country, what are our problems? The very first thing is poor workmanship. There is a lot of wastage, a lot of maintenance waste. That can be handled if we have proper codes of practice. Secondly, and some of the codes of practice I've already stated include the National Building Code. We need to have it, as well as the National Construction Code. We are having issues to do with our roads. These can be addressed if we have the National Construction Code. And the Bureau is currently developing capabilities, testing capabilities. We need to do with non-destructive testing of construction of infrastructure, that is bridges as well as roads. What are the schemes that are there at the Bureau? We have the product certification scheme that certifies product to meet a product to comply with a particular specification. So if you see a bus of cement, you see the MS29, it means we have certified it to say that cement complies with the requirements that are stated in the specification MS29. We also do monitor imports under the import quality monitoring scale that the Bureau offers. So we are having currently a lot of cement that is coming from neighboring countries, Zambia, especially Zambia and Mozambique. So under that scheme, we are monitoring these imports that are coming into our country to ensure that they meet the requirements as well as to safeguard our country from dumping. We believe that the coming in of LC3 cement will also offset these imports. So our economy can grow because the cheap LC3 can offset some of the imports that we are getting from our neighboring countries. We also provide export quality certification scheme for our exports so that our products can be accepted elsewhere. We are also managing the total management system certification. This is very important for our industry as well as government departments and ministries. We need to have ISO certification to ensure that our systems are delivering what they are intended for, or we are meeting our objectives. Another arm that is there at the Bureau is to do with research, consultancy, and training. And under this term, we are currently undertaking a research on quality of concrete blocks in Malawi. This is being done with in consultation with the National Construction Industry Council, as well as the National Commission of Science and Technology, NCST. Products, I think I've already stated that. That's why we have product specifications. On testing, just to show some of the equipment that we have this big equipment here. This is what we call the UTM. It's the universal testing machine that we have at the Bureau. And this is a report that is computerly generated from this equipment that gives us the strength of the material, as well as other properties that can be defined. These are also some of the equipment that we use in defining other or in determining other characteristics, which includes maybe the setting time, the fineness of grind, and so on and so forth. We are also promoting non-destructive testing, as I said, and we have acquired a ground penetrating radar, which will be used in testing of infrastructure, as well as we have also thermometers that can also be used in assessing infrastructure to ensure that all our infrastructure complies with requirements and standards. Those are our contacts. You can always contact us. We have toll-free numbers, our email, mbs@mbsmw.org, and that is our postal address as well as contact lines. Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you all.
Dr. Chilima for that wonderful presentation. May we give him another round of applause. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen, we have learned quite a lot and it is quite impressive to learn that our institutions are already on top of the game to make sure that they are part of the journey. And by the end of the day, we have to deliver what we need to deliver. I'm sure you have learned quite a lot. All those figures, whatever that he was talking about, they are really, really very important. Then universal testing what? Machine. Yeah, that's the UTM that he was referring to in this case. But otherwise, it was a very encouraging presentation indeed. And Your Honor, the Vice President, allow me also to let you know that we have representation from other sectors or manufacturers in the cement industry, and these include Iona Cement Management. They are here. We also have CPL Cement Management. They are also here with us, and it is very important that we acknowledge their presence, and so many other partners. I also see the Malawi Environmental Protection Agency also with us today this morning to make sure that they are part of this interesting journey. Having heard from the previous presenters, at this point in time is also that to give a chance to the German government to say a word or two. And to do that is going to be Mr. Knut Garment, who is the Deputy Head of Development Cooperation at the German Embassy. Thank you very much indeed.
Good morning. Right Honorable Dr. Saulos Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, Minister of Trade and Industry, Mr. Mark Katsongo-Firi, MP, Mr. Transport Public Works, Honorable Mr. Jacob Hara, MP, Minister of Mining, Honorable Dr. Albert Wagner, MP, Principal Secretaries, Directors, Senior Government Officials present here. Dear Ms. Ilya Janakis, Swiss Honorary Consul General, Chief Technical Officer of Tara, India, and dear colleagues from GSZ, Tara, and private sector, I just mentioned that it seems this project gets a lot of interest in the private sector to see Malawi as a source of innovation and change. So I'm very pleased to see that it's not only the workers of Marsh, but as well the wider sector who support here. Dear members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and present pleasure to be here today for the launch of the LC3 project. I think it's a beautiful example where the private and public sector team up for sustainable economic growth in Malawi, with the Malawi government, the German government, Tara, GSZ, Lafarge. I think it's a good example where we can really move and make a change together. And to achieve what we all want. We want to have economic growth, social development, and realization of the Malawi Vision 2063. Your Honor, distinguished guests, Honorable Minister, I'd like to reaffirm Germany's commitment for the implementation of the Malawi Vision 2063. I think with our activities, we're quite aligned. I think through GSZ and KW, we did strong work with the Ministry of Trade and Industry to strengthen private sector development and trade. And it is just a really nice event here. We just shortly talked, the Minister and myself, to arrange a meeting with the Ambassador and myself to really see what we can do more to support you. And there are other areas we work together. Agribusiness, smallholders, and just last week, the Ambassador met the Honorable Mr. Mbaka on our environment activities, which is very much aligned to the project here. So I think we're moving in the right direction. And I think just mentioned the heavy rainfalls, the challenges in Malawi. I think it highlights our activities, our cooperation. sector of health, social protection, and food security. Your Honor, distinguished guests, Germany is very happy to support this project. We heard so much about the potential of the project for Malawi and beyond. And the whole project is around 13 billion kwacha. Germany supported about 2.5 billion kwacha for this project. So it's a strong commitment to this project from our side. And I think Malawi will benefit. We heard about the positive impacts on job creation, 1,000 jobs almost for this project alone. In the formal sector, to reduce costs by 20–30%. And I really like these numbers you mentioned of 11 billion to actually save for import substitution. Forex, such a huge challenge now when we talk to the Ministry of Finance and the central bank. And the potential of export. To see, can we really produce cement here without lower costs, not only to stop our imports, but to export to neighboring countries. I think it sounds very promising. So we are looking forward to that to happen. And looking to these CO2 emissions, say 10 tons at least of this project, 550,000 tons, and all of Malawi. This is massive. And we all align to first, we really want to stop climate change. And you rightly said, 7–8% global emission a year just for cement production. And we can save 30% of this, 2.4. Just to put it in a way, the whole of CO2 emissions in sub-Saharan Africa is 3.8%. And now we talk about 2.4. This is massive. So let's hope this will change the cement production in Malawi, in the region, and maybe Malawi will be a shining example globally of what can be done. So I'd like to congratulate ministries involved, TAG, GSN, or BASH, for starting to the implementation of such a project. And it's just the first step in the long journey, or let's say it could be a second step after research done. But there's still a way ahead. I think we all are looking forward to see this can be done. And I'm happy to see the engagement of Germany through this development program. We mentioned it shortly. It's a really interesting project where we team up with the private sector to provide financing. And it's not the only one we have in Malawi. And I think this concept could be a potential project to increase our collaboration, provide more financing for similar activities. So I wish you all the best with successful project implementation and
thanks indeed for that wonderful speech that you just delivered, Mr. Knut Vermont, for making sure that you assure the Malawi government of the support that we shall continue to render to some of these development activities. And one of the things that we keep on saying and we keep on hearing is about breaking institutional boundaries. And I've seen that we have 3 ministers here presenting different ministries, which is quite encouraging. And this is why I would like to, first of all, invite the Minister of Trade. This is Honorable Mark Katsonga Piri to deliver his speech. As you all know, that trade is very important, making sure that a favorable environment is created for all the investors. Thank you very much indeed. And over to you, Honorable Mark Katsonga.
Thank you so much. Indeed, it is a unique activity where 3 honorable ministers are flanking the VP and all of them are speaking. Respected Vice President, Right Honorable Saulos Chilima, representative of the German ambassador, German government, Mr. Knut Vermont, Honorable Dr. Mawara, Minister of Mining, Honorable Jacob Buhara, Minister of Transport and Public Works, Dr. Sumeni Maite, Chief Technical Officer for DARA, all principal secretaries here present, senior government officials, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me, Right Honor, to also welcome all the guests to this auspicious function of launching the calcined clay cement, LC3 Project. Right Honor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I was in Ganembo, where His Excellency the State President, Dr. Lazarus McCarthy Chakwera, was inaugurating the Texas Agriculture Limited value-adding machinery. Today, we are here for yet another game-changer initiative. Your Honor, this clearly indicates that the Tonse government is on the right track with regard to economic recovery and transformation. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, industrialization, which is the key driver of development, has a negative impact on the environment. And most of the pollution on the planet is from industries of some kind. I am therefore delighted with this very important project, which has been developed within the concept of reducing greenhouse gases for cement production by 1/3, a very considerable reduction. You are right, Honor. My ministry has been advocating for inclusive and sustainable industrialization, which advocates for the use of technological solutions and innovation that are environmentally sound. This project, therefore, fits in very well with the expectation of our government. Right Honorable Vice President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Malawi 2063 agenda has identified industrialization as one of the priority pillars to drive the economic development of Malawi. Within the industry, cement production has a major impact in infrastructure projects that takes a huge amount of money from the national budget. Talk of building roads, schools, hospitals, just to mention but a few. It is therefore imperative that any innovation regarding cement production becomes a critical discussion in this country. To date, the cement industry has not been competitive in both the regional and global markets. This has led to importation of cheap cement from neighboring countries to the disadvantage of our economy. Right Honorable Vice President, distinguished guests, this launch of the project therefore brings hope not only to the industry but to the nation as a whole. You are right, Honor. From this project, I see cement production turning around through increased productivity. I also see import substitution, where cement imports will go down or completely eliminated. It is therefore important to note that this project will address challenges that have had a long time caused the cement to be expensive in Malawi. You are right, Honor. Last week I had a meeting with cement manufacturers, and I'm delighted to inform you that this project will address some of the problems that were highlighted by the industry. You are right, Honor. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I can go on and on and on and on, citing the expected benefits of this project, but let me recognize that this project encourages formalization and growth of macro, small, and medium-sized enterprises through participation in the value chain using modern technology and innovations. My ministry commits to continuously engage the players in the sector to ensure that we provide a conducive environment for these businesses to flourish. Right Honorable Vice President, let me end by appreciating the commitment of GIZ and its long outstanding partner, Technology and Action for Rural Advancement, MARA, in short, for this outstanding project for Malawi, and allow them to do their job with a free hand. Our ministry, Government of Malawi, which is the Tonsa administration, is more than ready to oblige and work hand in hand with you. My ministry will do the coordination, and I would like to see us moving forward. At times, we end at this talking stage, and we don't make any progress. But knowing the Germans and how they work, I have got a lot of confidence that this project is going to proceed and turn around the supply of cement in Malawi. Thank you very much, and I thank you all for listening. Thanks, Your Right Honor. Thanks.
Thank you very much indeed, Minister of Industry and Trade, Honorable Mark Katsonga Piri, MP, and I'm sure the private sector in this room is comforted to hear those encouraging words coming from the Minister and also on behalf of the Government of Malawi. I'm quite sure, Your Honor, that you are pretty much familiar with the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, where there is what they call the scenario framework for disaster risk reduction. It has about 7 priorities. And one of the priorities is to reduce damage to critical infrastructure, but also prevent disruption of critical services in an event that a disaster has occurred. And for that to happen, we need the Ministry of Public Works to come in so that they can help in managing the situation, but also in the implementation of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, among others. And this is why at this point in time, Your Honor, allow me to invite Honorable Jacob Hara, MP, who is the Minister of Transport and Public Works, to address us. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
honor, Right Honorable Dr. Saulos Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, the Swiss Honorary Consul General to Malawi, Silva Jenkins, Mr. Enad Gamet, Deputy Head of Development Operation, German Embassy, Honorable Mark Kasonga, PMB, Minister of Trade and Tourism and Industry, Honorable Dr. Albert Lawa, MP, Minister of Mining, Dr. Stephen Jamba, Director of Testing and Malawi Bureau of Standards, members of the Advisory Board, members of the media houses present here, since the invention of cement some 200 years ago, today is a very momentous day that will go down in the history of construction and the whole infrastructure development industry in this great nation as the greatest demonstration of the government's commitment to a revolutionary green construction drive as we launch the LC3 Project. I must, on the onset, applaud the Swiss and the Indian engineers and chemists that have worked tirelessly on this project to develop it this far. And also Tara and obviously the GIZ for bringing this to our great nation, Malawi. There has been lots of presentations to show us on how bad the good side, or rather how bad the good side of cement is. And that is to show us on the amount of emissions that we get in the entire world. If cement were a country, it would be rating probably number 3rd from the production of greenhouse gases, 3rd from USA and from China. So that is how bad this has been. But we have kind of like, given it a blind eye because we didn't have much to do because we needed the cement bag in the industrialization and the development of our countries. Therefore, the first significance of this launch, as I'm made to understand, helps the reduction of this greenhouse gas emission in cement production by over 30%, which is quite commendable. And I am envisioning a time where everyone else will be able to embrace this technology. Because as I said, for 200 years now, we felt that there isn't much that we could do on the development of cement. We have relied on cement for over these years, and nothing have we done to develop it. But thank God, some people were not sleeping to ensure that we see how we can get better. As a direct result of this, Malawi may soon become a world leader in environmentally friendly cement production. Malawi, in a way, it's all that as government, that this technology will live up its potential to transform the cement industry in this country and beyond African continent. What excites me the most with this launch and this technology is that since its trials in recent years, Malawi has jumped on to be one of the first beneficiaries actually to pioneer this project in the whole world. You know that in most instances, technology takes quite some time to get us here on this part of Africa, and sometimes decades. But for us to be among the first to pioneer this development, it's quite an exciting arrangement for me. and Malawi will never be the same. The second significance of this launch is that it greatly complements the government's agenda on transforming Malawi with its direct alignment to job creation. Production of environmentally friendly products as being pioneered by the LC3 technology is in line with the Malawi Environmental Management Act of 2017, which regulates the conservation and management of the environment in Malawi, as well as prescribing the environmental standards, such as reduction in the carbon emission, but also increased production of the environmentally friendly cement products like concrete blocks and bricks with other local companies. The other significance of this launch is that we will have the reduced cost of the importation of cement. As we have rightly heard, what this cement is capable of doing is basically to double what our clinker had capacity to do. So where we would get 1 bag with the current clinker, now we would get 2 bags, because now we'll have the 30% of the whole additions as calcined clay, and then we obviously the 15% of limestone, and it reduces energy, because I understand this limestone won't need to be heated at all to produce this type of cement. And then, of course, the 5% gypsum for workability. That means Malawi could become a wealthy country if we took this serious. Decreasing Malawi's dependence on important clinker requires, as I say, 50%. To me, I don't look at it as probably decreasing, but that will increase our production by twice as much, because I understand that it takes a little modification to the existing plants to jump on this project. So we won't have to be building new plants in order to embrace this. But it also has benefits, and the benefits are adding value to maximize the use of local available materials, adding Malawi to the international market, and it also helped to boost the availability of cement on the market to meet the high demand in the construction industry in the country. Increased competitiveness of cement in the construction industry, reduced costs of association of importations, we already talked about that, but also increased opportunities of jobs. I heard the presenter from Malawi Bureau of Standards, my good friend, talk about the lack of building codes, construction codes. I am pleased and happy to report that as a ministry, we've been working seriously on those, and we have managed to develop some in draft form now. I think it should be going to the GS's committee before it hits the cabinet and finally come to Parliament. So that's great news, because we haven't just been sitting over it, we are doing something. And it should also be noted that through the ministry, through NCIC, the National Construction Industry Council, announced to all consultants and local councils that the government of Malawi has published in a gazette the use of sustainable construction material regulations in 2018. These regulations seek to promote the use of sustainable and environmentally friendly construction materials in the construction industry. The regulations require that every public and commercial projects be executed using approved energy efficient, sustainable, and environmentally friendly construction materials and technology in all phases of the project as appropriate. As such, the use of the traditional fire-fueled bricks in the execution of such projects has now been completely prohibited. And it's our hope that the standards will be maintained. And talking about the standards, I was very impressed with the strength of the cement. I was asking my dear colleague here, I said, okay, these figures that you're telling me, what day of strength were they tested? And it tells me, no, it's 28 days. So if we have a cement that gets up to 60 MPas in 28 days, that's good enough. My only worry, though, is that, excuse me, conservative as we are, is that what we learned or what we know theoretically is that cements, or the old cements, the ordinary Portland cements, kept getting better in strength. Theoretically, they never cease to get better. So that what we would have is a parabolic, the strength is growing, it never hits a peak, it continues growing, only that it does that slowly. So my only worry is with the various, the quick strength gaining cements, they quickly hit the top and then the graph flattens. What we don't know is what happens after, because the testing we usually test after 90 days and we're happy, we say we're good to go. But what happens after the 2 years? What happens after 5 years? What happens after 10 years? Because if you have a graph that is increasingly going like that, though slowly, we are sure that the strength will continue going up. But at a point where it flattens, we're not sure in the 5 years, in the 10 years, whether it will begin to go down. That has been my worry with the most recent cements, because we do not have studies that have studied them over a very long period of time. And therefore, HMBS to continue studying this, give us results after 2 years, give us results after 5 years, give us results after 10 years, so that we are comfortable. That's why that may take time for us to embrace them, to use them on strong structures like bridges and stuff like that, until we do have those results. But if you have tested them for over that very long period of time, we'd like to know them, because that's what will help us to embrace this type of cements. Your Honor, Honourable Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this.
We appreciate you, Honorable Minister of Transport and Public Works, for the speech well delivered. Shortly, Your Honor, Honorable Ministers, we're going to have a very short video beamed right in front of us. It's about the same. It's about the LC3 innovation that you're about to launch today. Thank you very much indeed, Your Honor.
In 2012, in 2012, 3.6 billion tons of cement were produced worldwide. That amount is more than all the food produced for human consumption that same year. We mix most of the cement with about 22 billion tons of aggregates and 2.5 billion tons of water. This makes concrete the product most consumed by humans. We use it to build homes, bridges, and other infrastructure we use every day. The reasons concrete is so popular is because it is cheap, made of widely available materials, and easy to use. But the global demand for concrete requires huge amounts of resources, and we are going to need it even more. By 2050, the cement consumption is expected to double. Look out. In 2012, 3.6 billion tons of cement were produced worldwide. That amount is more than all the food produced for human consumption that same year. We mix most of the cement with about 22 billion tons of aggregates and 2.5 billion tons of water. This makes concrete the product most consumed by humans. We use it to build homes, bridges, and other infrastructure we use every day. The reasons concrete is so popular is because it is cheap, made of widely available materials, and easy to use. But the global demand for concrete requires huge amounts of resources, and we are going to need even more. By 2050, the cement consumption is expected to double. Look at how China alone is already consuming more cement than the whole world in 1990, and how India's cement production has doubled over the past 10 years. It will be a real challenge to meet the projected demand. Compared to many other materials, producing cement is very ecological. But with several billion tons produced each year, the cement industry is a major contributor to global CO2 emissions. Where does it come from then? To manufacture cement, limestone and clay are heated together in a large kiln at about 1450 degrees Celsius. This produces an intermediate material called clinker, which is rapidly cooled, mixed together with gypsum, and ground to make cement. 40% of CO2 emissions come from burning the fuels needed for the kiln. The efficiency of this manufacturing process is already optimized in most modern cement plants. But we can act on the 60 remaining percent of CO2 emissions, which come straight from the decomposition of the limestone. How do we do this? We can substitute what is clinker by less CO2 intensive materials, called supplementary cementitious materials. We often throw in waste materials from other industries. For example, blast furnace slag from steel plants or fly ashes from coal-fired power plants. What you get is a blended cement. Sadly, there are not enough substitute materials for everyone. So what other substitutes can we use? When calcined at a temperature of only 800 degrees Celsius, clay becomes reacted and can be used as a replacement material. We can also add limestone without any heat.
Anyway, we really apologize, Owner, that mishap. We are missing some parts of the video, and it will be very difficult for us to capture the whole sense of the clip. And I'm sure the organizers or the project team will make sure they send you a clip so that you can really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Your Honor. We use soil for different purposes. We use these clay things for different purposes, but where it means business, the government has to come in. It's now the responsibility of the mining ministry. This is why this particular moment, allow me, Your Honor, to invite Dr. Herbert Mawala, who is the Minister of Mining, to deliver his speech. And I'll also kindly request him to invite you to address us, but also proceed to officially launch the LC3 project here in Malawi. Thank you very much, Your Honor. Dr. Mawala.
Honor the Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, Right Honorable Dr. Saulos Chilima, the Minister of Trade and Industry, Honorable Makatsola MB, the Minister of Transport and Public Works, Honorable Jacobo Haran MB, the Secretary for Mining and all other Principal Secretaries here present, all senior government officials here present, Mr. Lord Gomet, Deputy Head of Delegation of the Development Corporation of the German Embassy, Mr. Peter Schumann, Head of the Component on Environmentally Friendly Building Materials and Construction, and your entire delegation of from GIZ, distinguished guests from private sector, members of the civil society organizations, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Your Honor, it is a great pleasure to be invited to the launch of the Limestone Calcined Clay Cement called the LC3 Project, organized by the GIZ, being launched today by Your Honor, the Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, Dr. Saulos Chilima. Your Honor, the Limestone Calcined Clay Cement technology has the potential to become a game changer in the global cement industry by cutting greenhouse gas effects for cement production by 1/3. The goal of the project is to strengthen the environmental friendly building material sector in Malawi by focusing on 2 building material areas, which are the walling materials and cement. The outcome from this project aligns well with the use of Sustainable Construction Materials Act 2018. Your Honor, since the project will involve use of locally available geological resources, I would like, therefore, to confirm that Malawi is endowed with various mineral and other geological resources, such as clays of various types, as limestones, gypsum, and other industrial minerals that are suitable for the implementation of this project. For example, Your Honor, the country has large volumes of chaotic clays in excess of 15 million metric tons that are found in Lintipe, in Deza, and Senzani in Shewe, and other parts of Malawi, as you saw from the presentation from Tara on the map, that we have a number of places in Malawi, like Blantyre, Chileka, and up north. We have quite a number of huge deposits of this type of minerals that actually assures the project of its continuity for the rest of the year. I don't know how many years, but so many years to come. So this project is sustainable in terms of availability of the minerals to actually assure production of the environmental friendly cement in this country. Your Honor, the project already tested our Lintipe chaotic clay deposit, and the results have been very positive. The country also has about 4.5 million tons of gypsum, mainly found in the dams of Lilongwe and lower districts. There is also several occurrences of limestone and marble deposits across the country. This is just to give you, Your Honor, a picture of the resources we have to make sure this project is a success and will continue for the rest of the years. But we have a lot of deposits. This is just an example. We have a lot of mineral deposits to assure the project is successful in this country. Your Honor, you are aware the contribution of mineral resource extraction to GDP in Malawi is currently pegged at 1%, which is very low. However, it is the desire of the government of Malawi to improve this contribution to more than 20%. And this explains why the Malawi government is encouraging adequate exploration and sustainable exploitation of these abundant and diverse mineral resources for the economic growth and development of the country, as outlined in the Malawi Vision 2063. This project, Your Honor, is also in line with the manifesto of the State Alliance government, which promotes job creation, entrepreneurship, and economic empowerment. Hence, the project is deemed to have great potential in fulfilling part of the government agenda. Furthermore, my ministry, Your Honor, would like to engage other stakeholders to emulate from the GIZ and this project and come up with similar projects that will promote sustainable utilization of our mineral resources and job creation. Hence, I would like to assure you, GIZ, that my ministry fully supports this project. My ministry is further looking forward to supporting the mining sector to grow by establishing partnerships with another development partner in the exploration of strategic and high-valued minerals to support agriculture in the production of fertilizers. We are talking of potassium and phosphates that are available in Malawi. The area of energy, we are talking of uranium, oil and gas that are available in Malawi, and other infrastructural development minerals like iron ore gypsum, rare earth, limestone, graphite, and rutile, just to mention a few of the depots we have in Malawi. Your Honor, in order to operationalize this project, a memorandum of understanding between the Ministry of Mining under the Department of Geological Survey and GIZ under the More Income and Employment in Rural Areas in Malawi, NIERA, has been developed. The MOU will ensure a streamlined relationship between the parties, clearly delineating the roles and the responsibilities of each party for the mutual collaboration in the project. Meanwhile, the MOU is under review and will be signed shortly. Your Honor, lastly, I wish to commend the GIZ for organizing this workshop, as the benefits of this project will go a long way towards the promotion of locally available use of geological resources in an environmentally friendly manner for economic growth of the country through job creation and entrepreneurship. Let us collaborate further to ensure that the project that commenced a couple of years ago comes to fruition. Your Honor, with these few remarks, I would like to invite you, Your Honor, to launch this project. Thank you, Your Honor, and Your Honor, I salute you. Please come and launch this project. I thank you for your attention.
Honorable Dr. Albert Mawala, MP, Minister of Mining, Honorable Jacob Hara, MP, Minister of Transport and Public Works, Honorable Mark Kasonga, MP, Minister of Industry and Trade, Dr. Sumer Maite, Chief Technical Officer and leader of the Limestone Calcined Clay Cement Project, and all members of the project team, Mr. Claude Clement, Deputy Head of Development Corporation for the German Embassy, all senior government officials that are present this morning, all distinguished presenters that have shared with us some useful information about this project. Let me also recognize Mrs. Jankis. I didn't quite capture your designation of Saulos Swiss representative here in Malawi, distinguished invited guests, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen. Today we open a new chapter in Malawi's history books as we launch this very important and timely project in our quest to support the creation of enterprise and local jobs in the construction sector through reduced cement costs. In the ongoing public sector reforms, one of the areas that we've been pushing to change is to reduce the use of bent bricks for construction. And therefore, on behalf of His Excellency the President, we are delighted that through the promotion of environment-friendly construction material in Malawi, the public-private partnership project we have embarked on a crucial step towards the use of sustainable, environment-friendly, and energy-efficient construction materials. This PPP project aims at promoting an environment-friendly construction material sector in Malawi through some PPP initiatives as follows, and there are two of them that are caught for purposes of this project. Number one is the partnership with Lafarge Cement in Malawi, and I'm very delighted that we also are taking on board the two other manufacturers, i.e. Shayona and CPL. And the second is the cold ceramic brick technology, which is being done in partnership with Terrastone Limited. These partnerships are not only commendable, but also progressive because they provide us with cement and building solutions. These projects will reduce the negative environmental impact and instead allow us to substitute resources scarce to Malawi with other raw materials that are in abundant supply and readily available in this country. In the case of the partnership with Lafarge, the cement production technology currently used will be replaced with limestone calcined clay cement as a new technology. This will mean reducing Lafarge's CO2 emissions by 10,000 tons annually. We expect that this will inspire the whole construction sector to operate more efficiently. Honorable Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, Malawi has a fast-growing population and requires high-quality building materials to meet the housing demand. Continuing with current bent bricks, coupled with charcoal burning, we will be depleting our forests and further risking more climate change-induced disasters. This is why, on behalf of the government of Malawi, I would like to urge all relevant stakeholders to join hands to ensure that we make this a reality. The lamentations by the Honourable Minister of Transport and Public Works inclusive about the quality as we go 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and beyond. There should be deliberate efforts to promote awareness, encourage more consultations and collaboration so that those in the brick-making business are trained and supported with modern ways of making bricks without using fire. In this way, we don't compromise their ability to earn a living. On its part, the government is already leading from the front with the efforts to reduce the environmental impact of the building material sector in Malawi through the gazetting of the 2018 Sustainable Building Material Act. The Act directs building developers and contractors to use sustainable building materials for all public, institutional, and commercial construction projects. It is for this reason that the Tonse Alliance administration considers the improvement of Malawi's low infrastructure development as key for development in Malawi. I have no doubt whatsoever that this project will increase the availability of local building materials required for the realization of our aspirations as espoused in the Malawi 2063, as well as the National Transport Master Plan 2017 to 2037. This is because the objectives of this project are in line with the government's efforts to create a sustainable formal building material sector needed for Malawi's development. The project is also very much in line with the various policies and strategies of the Malawi government, and I will cite a few. Number one, the MIP1 as a subset of the Malawi 2063, and then the other that are still in draft form, namely the National Housing Policy, and the last, the Land Use Planning and development management guidelines and standards. Another important aspect of this project is its multi-sector approach that will result in job creation. Various private and public actors within the building material sector will be included in the project implementation in Malawi. As a result, the two projects and the auxiliary industry are estimated to create a lot of jobs. It is therefore incumbent upon us to track such jobs as they are being created. Apart from job creation, the project also promotes entrepreneurship and encourages formalization and growth of micro, small, and medium enterprise. As I conclude, let me summarize by saying that the project envisages to increase the level of productivity in the building material production sector through innovation. This will translate in making the sector more sustainable with increased resource use, efficiency, and greater adoption of clean and environment sound technologies and industrial processes. This is good news to Malawi, and today we must be celebrating that. On behalf of His Excellency the President, we are launching this initiative which will lead to creation of enterprise and local jobs in the construction sector while reducing deforestation and the cost of cement. Finally, let me in a special way commend Lafayette Cement, Terrastone Limited, and the German government through JIZ for jointly implementing this public-private partnership project. As we go forward, let's share the technology widely in order to accelerate the arrest of imminent deforestation catastrophes. With that said, therefore, it is now my pleasure to declare the Promoting an Environment-Friendly Construction Material Sector in Malawi PPP project officially launched. I thank you for your attention, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Many thanks indeed, Your Honor, the Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, Dr. Saulos Chilima, and congratulations to everyone for the wonderful launch that we have had today. May we offer another round of applause in excitement for what has happened on this day. Indeed, this is a happy day. We must celebrate this achievement as a country. And very shortly, Your Honor, I shall be inviting you to a group photo. And may I invite the following to accompany the Vice President to have that historic photograph. I'll start with all the honorable ministers that we have to go in front with the honor, Your Honor, the Vice President. And let me also invite the following: Dr. Soman Maiti, Peter Shram, Debo, Grace Piri Zimba, Bomi Manjolo, Charlotte. We also have Gerard Konje, Madame Taonga Mbale Luka, Stephen Chirima, that's Dr. Stephen Chirima, Knut Garment, Jazet, Zinibe Luka, Wanda Petuka, Wesley Banda, and thank you very much. And then the owner will be joining water. Next generation is celebrating, we are all happy and very much. Thank you, everyone. We meet humans. It's an honor. We have also come to the end of our launch today. It's quite interesting to see different players working together, supporting this launch, breaking all these boundaries, confirming that indeed as a country we can stop working in silos for the common good of our people and of our nation. And I think that indeed must be the spirit. And all along, it has been very difficult to have the private sector work on these issues with the environment. And today is indeed a different day. Today is an open day. May I invite your honor, at your will, to lead us to the national anthem. May we all stand, please. Thank you. That was the Malawi National Anthem, marking the end of our launch today. And shortly, Your Honor, if it pleases you, you may wish to interact with the media briefly before you take leave of us. May I kindly request the media to take positions so that we can quickly exhaust this item of the agenda before